Well. Welcome to today's episode of Wednesdays with Pastor K. What a joy it is to be your host once more today. Welcome. I'm so excited to be your host today. And I believe that we're going to have an awesome time. Awesome. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see who's watching. I see we've got Matapelo Mapanga watching. Welcome, Matapelo. She's watching on Facebook. Welcome. Good to see you. And we have also Homoto KG watching on Facebook. Welcome, Homoto. So good to see you. And we have Lerato Mashazi watching on YouTube. Welcome, Lerato. Good to see you. Welcome, family. I'm excited to be your host today, and I believe we're going to have an awesome time. Happy Wednesday night. It is cold, it's a chilly weather, and by God's grace, we continue. We continue to move forward, and we are trusting God for bigger things. Amen. Praise the living God. And please do the following for me. Please like the feed, share the feed, comment, and let's get our world into this room. Let's get our world into this room. Awesome. Welcome to Duzile Taba. So good to have you here. We have also Katleho Musaka watching on YouTube. Welcome, Katleho. So good to see you guys. And last week we took some time to deliberate on the subject titled Overcoming Self-Doubt. And I believe that many of you were impacted by this topic. I believe that it was of great value to somebody, and we let's quickly recap on it. We shared that the definition for overcoming self-doubt is a lack of faith in oneself. We said it is a lack of faith in oneself, a feeling of doubt or uncertainty about one's abilities, actions, etc. These are people who are plagued by or who are plagued with self doubt. Self doubt is the fear of getting things wrong. Many people doubt themselves because they fear to get things wrong. And that fear prevents us from becoming the best we can be, and it undermines our ability. Yeah. Welcome, Joaquin Fouquet. She's watching on Facebook. Welcome, Joaquin. Good to see you. And we have also Mpoma Libani watching on YouTube. Welcome, Paul. Good to see you. So, at times we overestimate the extent to which others view us. It is a phenomenon called the spotlight effect. Many people are afraid of the spotlight effect. There are many people who try to hide away from the light. They rather stay there in the dark so that nobody notices them because they are afraid of people's eyes. They are afraid that people will see them in the front. And so they try to avoid the spotlight. So they are hit by the spotlight effect, and they want to remain away from the light as far as possible. And that's what we call low self-esteem. We said last week that's what we call low self-esteem. You don't want to always appear on the stage. You always want to hide in the back. You don't want to be seen in the front. It's a spotlight effect. And also, we said that low self esteem is a poor sense of self value. It is having a poor opinion of yourself, which is, we don't encourage that. It is a poor opinion of yourself. God actually does not see you that way. He does not see you as inferior. He does not see you as timid, but God sees you as wonderfully and fearfully made. God sees you as somebody who can do everything they want to do in life. And we got to share last week also the scripture by Paul in Philippians 4, chapter 4 and 13, that Paul said, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. He said, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So we have to access our full potential and not be afraid of appearing and doing what we are set to do or what we are sent to do. We have to push in this life, and don't be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to stand before people and express yourself. Don't be afraid to take a leap of faith and confront things that look difficult or things that have never been tried before by others. Always desire or push to become the first in your family, to become the first in your circle, to become the first in your group of peers. So always never be afraid to try something new. Never. It gives you a poor outlook on your future. That's what we said. Low self-esteem gives you a poor outlook on your future. It is focusing more on how others see you. We often worry more about what others think of us, and that's what keeps us in one place. We often worry about how others see us. That's what we got to also discuss on last week. Instead of moving forward and doing great things, self-doubt causes you to worry about the judgment coming from critics. It causes us to worry about the judgment coming from critics. It puts you in a place to avoid embarrassment. That's what many of us do. We avoid embarrassment. That's why we don't want to try new things. That is why we don't want to take on new things in life. It comes as a result of comparing ourselves with others. We tend to compare ourselves with others. And I will close with this again. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So today we have a very interesting topic, and I believe you're going to love it. It's going to be powerful. It's a topic that is very close and dear to my heart. It is titled Build Solid Relationships. Build solid relationships. Allow me to say to you today that great relationships will help you advance towards your goals. Great relationships will help you to advance towards your goals. There are many people who are limited in life simply because they don't have good relationships. There are many people today who are in lack simply not because it is a financial situation or something, but they are in lack because they lack relationships. They lack sound relationships, and today I want us to really focus on this issue because whatever money it is that you're looking for, it's in somebody's bank account right now. Whatever idea you desire to fine tune today, somebody has answers for that. And if you're gonna try and live this life as a soloist in life, allow me to tell you this evening that you're gonna be limited. You're gonna be very limited in life. Most people who are prideful and most people who feel that they don't need anybody to make it in life, these are people who end up becoming very limited in life. You don't want to be limited because you've shunned people out of your life and you fear that you can make it on your own. You don't need anybody. Allow me to tell you, every great thing you will ever need, or the things that you don't have now currently, somebody has those things. You want to live in a bigger house today, allow me to tell you that somebody stays in a bigger house. You want to drive a bigger car, allow me to tell you that somebody drives a bigger car, and they can even put in a good word for you to have it. Every person that has a great network, it's because they know people in higher places. You've got to be intentional when it comes to the area of relationships. Many people are limited because they undermine this area of relationships. The value of many people or the wealth of many people is hidden in relationships. There are people today who are wealthy. There are people whom I know today who are very established. And when I sit with them and I chat with them, all they can say to me is that it's because of relationships. They will say that my sustenance and my substance is based on relationships. So never in your life try and become a soloist. and try and to live this life as a soloist, you will be limited in life. You will be limited in life. So I'm going to give you the pointers on how to build strong relationships and relationships that matter. You've got to build strong relationships and relationships that matter. There are relationships that will take you somewhere in life. There are relationships that will take you down in life. There are relationships that will take you on a downward spiral, but there are relationships that will take you higher. There are relationships that will lift you higher. You have to build relationships that will take you somewhere. Somebody out there will take you to places you've never dreamed you will go, simply by connecting with them. You've got to connect with people that matter in life. You've got to connect with people that will take you to the next level of your life. Stop hanging around with people that are not going anywhere. Stop hanging around with people that don't have dreams, and stop hanging around with people that don't have a vision. You must always associate with people that are like-minded. Make sure that you want to associate with people that think highly, people that operate or think at a higher level, if I may put it that way. You have to be a person that is intentional. You have to be a person that is forward thinking. You have to connect with the right people in life. If you're going to make it in life, you must be intentional when it comes to the area of relationships. And point number one I'm going to give you is that you have to understand, even though that I'm encouraging you to build strong relationships, to build solid relationships, understand this about relationships. Relationship building takes time. I want you to understand that. It takes time. It takes time to build relationships that matter. It takes time to build relationships that will take you to the next level. It takes time to become a person of value. It takes time to connect with the right people and to nurture and cultivate relationships. They must be sustainable. Whatever relationship you're going to be building, it must be sustainable. It must be sustainable. It must be reciprocal, meaning that it must be mutually beneficial. Whatever relationships you're going to be in, whatever relationship that you're going to build, it must be reciprocal, excuse me. It must be reciprocal and valuable. You must build valuable relationships, and they must be sustainable. You must be able to sustain those relationships as a person. And there is always a degree of uncertainty when it comes to relationships. There is always a degree of uncertainty. You might not achieve your desired outcomes. At times, we meet certain people and we want to take the relationship to the next level, but you find that at times we don't reach the desired outcomes in those relationships. Why? Because you must remember that people are not things. People are not things. People are not machinery. You cannot just predict that, okay, this relationship is going to go that way, or this relationship is going to take us that way. You must remember that we've got different mindsets and we've got different minds. So every time you connect with somebody, yes, you might have good intentions, but it does not necessarily mean that the relationship will take the right direction. So you must take your time when it comes to relationships and continue to learn and to study others, and also observe your counterparts, observe people that you are in a relationship with. It will take time. It will take time to build a solid relationships. Powerful relationships, they take time. They take time. You know, I know with my relationship with my spiritual parents, you know what? It took me time. It took my wife and I some time to get to where we are today. And great relationships will always take time. Great things are not manufactured in one day. And great relationships will not be manufactured in one day. It will take you time. It will take you time to build destiny relationships, relationships that will bear fruit, relationships that will take you to the next level. It will take time. So you must be intentional in the area of relationships, and be intentional and take your time. Learn people in the process, learn how people operate, and submit to their way of operating. If it's a destiny relationship, then be patient and submit to their way of doing things. Don't just push and try to force things. Take your time. Man of God, welcome, my dear friend, Pastor Tebo Maditsi is watching. Good to see you, man. Thank you for tuning in. Love you, man. So, when it comes to the area of relationships, we're not gonna take the microwave approach. It's gonna take you time. You must be patient with yourself. You must be patient with the people in the relationship, and you know what? As you continue to cultivate this relationship, as you continue to build it mutually, this relationship will grow step by step. Everything great was not built in one day. It will take you time, and you must take it one step at a time. Do you get what I'm saying? Remember that people are not things. They are not things, and you cannot predict them. You cannot predict them. Relationships don't work in a linear manner. They don't work in a linear manner such that an X amount of time and effort is guaranteed to lead you to Y results and resources. No, it won't work that way. Outcomes can be unpredictable if you are in a rush, and you must take time to study people, take time to observe people, take time to learn how people do things. Certain relationships take time to bear fruit. They take time to bear fruit. They require a long term horizon that involves risk taking and a lot of trust. They require long term horizon that involves risk taking and a lot of trust. You have to get to a level where somebody who's in a relationship with you, they gain that level of trust for you. There are certain things you will not share with people you don't trust. There are certain things you will never open up to certain people you don't trust. You have to get to a level of trust with certain people before you can open up your world to them. You can open up your world for them to come in. So you must build trust in relationships that are going to take you somewhere. And you have to be intentional. Like I said, I keep saying that because many people are very how do I put it, there are many people who are very um, what's the word I'm looking for? This word keeps on escaping me. But you find that there are people who are not really intentional. I was looking for this other word. But you have to, even the person that is in a relationship with you, they have to see that they matter to you. They have to see that you are not there for what you can only get, but you are there to build. So you have to be very, very intentional when it comes to relationships. And the strongest relationships have a common vision and a set of shared values. They have common values and a set of shared values. If it's going to be a powerful relationship, then it must be mutually beneficial. It must be mutually beneficial for both parties. For both parties. It cannot be one-sided, otherwise it won't benefit everybody. It must benefit everyone in the relationship. Yeah. Sis Dudu says, great and blessed relationship will not um, uh, be made in a microwave time. Powerful man of God. And Gatlejo says, Pastor K, how do you avoid familiarity whilst trying to build a strong relationship? Look, at the end of the day, it's all about building a relationship, but um, how I avoid familiarity is often at times I would check if reverence is still there. Reverence and respect. It depends on what nature or the nature of the relationship. It depends on that. Obviously, if it's a relationship between your spiritual parents, obviously you need not to lose your reverence. Don't lose your reverence. At the end of the day, they are your mother and father, they are not your friends. No matter how close they may be with you, never lose that sense of awe. Don't lose the sense of awe. You must maintain that. So you must do a self check all the time. The more you get closer to them, you must look for that thing if it's still there. Do you still have reverence for them? Do you still feel that thing, that the uneasiness when you get into where they are, on how to carry yourself, how to behave? It happens to me all the time. It still happens. Very close with my spiritual father, very close with my mother in the faith, but I still have that sense of awe when I'm with them. There are people whom their relationships, being in a relationship with them will benefit you and it will take you to places. And you must maintain that sense of awe. It is that sense of awe that will make sure that God continue to blesses you through their relationship. God wants us to honor them. God wants us to hold them in high regard. God wants us to respect them. The moment you lose respect, then you must know that the relationship is going to stop working for you, and it won't benefit you. You might be close to them, but you won't benefit anything. And many people take advantage of that. The moment you get closer to people that God has placed in high regard, then if you don't respect that, and you're going to lose that sense of awe, and it's going to stop being a beneficial relationship for you. So you must always look. I guess that's the best way I can give it to you, Katlego. Always check if that sense of awe is still there. Always check if that reverence is still there. The moment you lose that, then you're in trouble. The moment you lose that, you are in trouble, and it won't benefit you anymore. There are many people. That's why proximity must not kill you. Proximity must take you to the next level. Never allow proximity to steal from you. There are many people whom proximity have stolen from them. They've become very close with people who carry such great anointings and all that. And as a result, they've become familiar. And as a result, they are not receiving anything. They have access, but they are not receiving anything. God does not operate that way. You cannot come into the presence of God and just fold your hands and talk with God anyhow. When you're in the presence of God, you bow down. When you're in the presence of God, you lift up your hands. You show that reverence. You show that worship to God. Obviously, this posture I'm talking about has to do with God only. You can't do that for men. But obviously, there is that sense of awe and that reverence when you're speaking. For instance, when you're speaking with your friends, there are certain things, or there is a certain demeanor and a certain way you will carry yourself when you're with your friends. But when you're with your mother and your father, especially, let me say rather, your natural biological mother and father, obviously there are certain things you will discuss with your friends and not with them. Why? Because of their seniority, and their level of knowledge, their level of wisdom, their experience as well. So there is a way you need to carry yourself. The moment you lose that, then you want to disrespect your parents, and you are not going to benefit anything. And God says, honor your mother and your father so that you may live long. The moment you begin to dishonor them, then you are limiting yourself. You are shortening your lifespan because you are disrespecting those God wants you to respect. And it happens also with the relationships that we are talking about. There are certain relationships that you need not to fall prey to familiarity, because there are people who are ready to help you. There are people who are ready to take you to the next level. But the moment you start disrespecting them, then you're going to lose that. You're going to lose that. You're going to fall from that pedestal, and they won't take you seriously anymore because they will feel disrespected by yourself. So, I'm trying to try and give it to you, Katlego, but I think you are getting the gist of it. So if it has to do with spirituality, don't lose that sense of awe. Don't lose that sense of awe. Even in the secular world, people that open doors for you, respect them. Respect them. If your boss at work has given you an opportunity to operate at a higher level, don't disrespect them. Honor them. Honor them. That thing will cultivate your relationship. That thing will make sure that doors continue to open up for you. Otherwise, you will find yourself at a disadvantaged position because they will sideline you, because they feel that you have no more respect for them, and you're taking them for granted. Never take people for granted. The Bible is full of those kinds of relationship, of people who ascended to higher levels based on honor, because they honored people who were ahead of them. So I think approach it that way. Approach it that way. Hi. My wife says hi. Good to see you, love. And Patricia says, being in a relationship that benefits both parties is a true blessing. It's only fair to feed what feeds you. Yeah, absolutely. That's very true. That's very true. Number two of the points I want to give you in helping you to build powerful relationships. Number two, having respect for others will help you build solid relationships in life. Respect goes a long way. it goes a long way. There are many people today who fell from grace because they lost respect for the people they had to continue respecting, and they lost respect. Excuse me. They lost respect for relevant people. Some people bring their vulnerabilities to relationships. We ought to treat them with respect. There are certain people who will show you their vulnerable side of themselves, and don't take advantage of that, especially people you are in a relationship with them. It might be a business relationship, it might be destiny relationship and everything. The more closer you get to them, the more you will see their vulnerabilities, and respect that. You ought to respect that in order for you to maintain the access that you have to them. As human beings, we fail, we make mistakes, and we are vulnerable. But as a person who's in a relationship with those kinds of people, um, respect them, maintain the respect, maintain the respect. There are certain weaknesses you get to see once you get closer to people, and I guess that's why many people become familiar, because the more closer you get to somebody, the more you see their weaknesses. You get to see them when they are angry. We get to see them when they are their self, when they are not, in the corporate space. You get to see them how they eat. You get to see them how they behave. You get to see them how they laugh, and you may see that it's not how they are in the corporate space. That is not an in way for you to disrespect them. You must honor them. You must continue to respect them, because that's what will pull you out of their circle. So there are certain people that you have to maintain respect for, because no one is perfect. You need to understand that no one is perfect. Relationship building is a messy process, because the more closer you get to certain people, the more you may not like certain things or how they do things. Maintain that respect. Don't become familiar. Don't become familiar when you're exposed to their side, the side that you did not know about them. And there is bound to be conflict. The more you get closer to certain people, there is bound to be conflict. As you build relationships, understand that about relationships. There is bound to be conflict. There is bound to be misunderstandings. There is bound to be assumptions that can cloud our judgment. It does not mean that the relationship must end. You must remember, most of the relationships that will benefit you in life, they may not be perfect relationships, but for the sake of you getting to your destiny, for the sake of you achieving your goals in life, you've got to respect those relationships. You've got to respect those relationships. Some personalities are going to clash. You have to understand that. Some personalities are going to clash. Understand that there are people that you might pursue a relationship with, and you'll find that along the way, personalities will clash. Your personalities will clash. It does not mean that you have to move away or disconnect from a relationship, but you must learn to understand certain people, and understand that every relationship that God has for your next level, God did not promise that it will be a flawless relationship. No, He did not promise that. It will be a relationship that will require of you to be patient. It will require of you to be forbearing. It will require for you of you to be, let me rather say, long suffering. It is very important. It is very important that you get to understand that. Yeah. Katleho says, thank you so much, Pastor K. You have thoroughly answered my question. God bless you. God bless you, Katleho. God bless you. So, yeah, I mean, when it comes to relationships, people of God, understand that every great person you know, somebody has elevated them to the level that you see them today. We never rise to greater levels without somebody pulling us up. We never. There's always somebody on the other side pulling you to the next level. So you've got to make room to build sound relationships in life. You must build solid relationships. Sometimes it can be so extreme that you feel insulted and disrespected when your values are violated or your boundaries are crossed. In terms of personality clashes, you will feel that your boundaries have been crossed, your values have been violated. It does not mean that the relationship should end. It does not mean that. The more closer you get to somebody, the more you get to understand their world, the more you get to understand how they do things. But it does not necessarily mean that you need to disconnect to that from that person, because you may find that your destiny is connected to that particular person. No relationship will be perfect at the end of the day. We are human beings. None of us are going to be perfect, and even the people that are connecting to you, they are not perfect, and even yourself, you are not perfect. None of us are. None of us are. What you think is a best practice may not even be a good practice from your counterpart's point of view. Relationship building requires work. It requires work. It requires trust. It requires commitment. You will never be able to build a sound relationship if you are not committed to that relationship. You will never be able to do it if you don't trust the person that you want to be in a relationship with. You will never excel in that relationship, or it will never be a relationship bearing fruit. Number three, so number two, I said having respect for others will help you build solid relationships in life. Number three, focus on what you can give, not take. In a relationship, focus on what you can give, not take. What is it that you are giving to relationships? What is it that you are giving to those in those destiny relationships? What is it that you're giving? Many of us, we connect selfishly. We connect because of what we can get. We connect because of what we can gain. We connect based on what we can receive. And that's a parasitic relationship. That's a parasitic relationship. Never focus on what you can get. Of course, in a relationship, you will get something, but focus on what you can give. If that's your mindset, you're going to build powerful relationships. You're going to build powerful relationships. Understand this about relationships. Great relationships are not parasitic. They are not parasitic. Remember that you are also a stakeholder. You are also a stakeholder, a connector, a collaborator in somebody else's network. You are a stakeholder. Never walk into a relationship because of what you can get all the time, but understand that you are a stakeholder as well. Play your part. You are a connector. You are a collaborator. Collaborate in the relationship. Help do certain things. Understand that there are things that you can help people in the relationship with. So always play your part in a relationship. It's not about you receiving all the time. It's not about you getting and getting and getting. Ask yourself, if you are in a relationship, it can be a friendship, it can be a business relationship, it can be a spiritual relationship. Ask yourself, what am I giving? What am I giving? So do the stock take. Do the stock take. Ask yourself, what am I getting? Check, what is it that you're getting? Are you getting wisdom? Are you getting the benefits in that relationship that are taking you to the next level? Are your relationships growing because of that relationship? You are doing the stock take. If you're getting it, do the stock take. Check, what are you giving? What have you given out? What are you giving into that relationship? So relationships have to be mutual. They have to be mutually beneficial. If it only benefits you, then it's no longer a good relationship. It's a parasitic relationship. You've got to play your part. You've got to play your part. Never focus on what you can get. Focus on what you can give. Focus on what you can give, because obviously you're going to get something. Focus on what you can give. Obviously, that's God's mindset. Giving is God's mindset. So if you give, you are basically going to get. You're basically going to get. If you bless somebody in a relationship, what are they going to say? Thank you. And they will never forget you. They will always think of what you've done for them. Therefore, whenever they get access to something good, they're going to share it with you. They're going to share it with you. There are people that when you are in a relationship with them, because of the nature of your relationship, because it's a mutual relationship, these people will always share vital information with you. They will share valuable information. They will even share great prayers with you. Why? Because they are in a relationship and they want to give. They want to constantly give. They want to constantly take you to the next level. They will share many things with you. Some will share with you financially. Some will share information. Some will share ideas. Some will share advice. Some will share even prayers. Then you must know that you are in a relationship and that relationship is bringing value into your life. Therefore, you must play your part. You must also play your part. Yeah. Patricia says our relationship with God or with people will require us to work on it and will also require a lot of sacrifices. Absolutely. Absolutely. Welcome, Buyi. Good to see you, man. Mr. Mahwa, welcome. And Refilwe, welcome. Refilwe says, focus on what you can give. It should never be about taking and not giving anything back. Absolutely. Always look at what you can give. What is your contribution? Yeah, that's the best way of putting it. What's your contribution in that relationship? What's your contribution? You must ask yourself all the time, am I contributing anything to this relationship? Yeah. And ask others how you can be of help. Ask them, how can I be of help? You're in a relationship with somebody, can be any relationship, business relationship, your friends, or it's a corporate relationship, you name it, destiny relationship. Ask, how can I be of help? Help people you are in a relationship with, regardless of whether or regardless of where they are on their ladder of life. That's a powerful one. You must help people you are in a relationship with, regardless on where they are when it comes to their ladder of life. There are many people who only focus on people who can do great things for them, but they tend to ignore people in a relationship that cannot do anything for them. You must always help people, especially if you are in a relationship with them, regardless of where they are on their ladder of life. Be generous with your relationships by offering your time. Be generous by offering your time, offering your skills, and offering your resources. Be generous. Be generous. Offer your time, offer your skills, and offer your resources. And also, again, be generous with your, let's put it this way. How you treat someone should not be dependent on their job title or their level. How you treat people, you must be very genuine with people. You must be very genuine with people in a relationship. Don't do things for people because of what you want to get out of them or because of their level in the society. Don't help others just because you expect to gain something in return. Don't do that. Expand your knowledge, expand your abilities, expand your skills, fine-tune your skills set. Why am I asking you to do that? Because you can ultimately use them to benefit others too. So in order for you to be, or your relationship with others to be beneficial to certain people or other people, you must have something to offer. You must have something to offer. And here I'm saying, expand your knowledge, expand your abilities, expand your skills, fine-tune your skill set and networks so that you can ultimately add value to other people you are in relationships with. There are certain people who have nothing to offer in relationships. Why? Because they don't invest in themselves. They don't expand their knowledge. They don't expand their abilities. They've got nothing to give. They've got nothing to do. They just want to take. They just want to take. They've got no value to add in a relationship. A person that constantly invests in themselves and work in themselves, they've got something to give in relationships. They've got something to give in relationships. So you must constantly work on yourself. You must constantly invest in yourself. Katlego says relationships are about serving and somewhat dying to serve. This session is full of insight. Pastor K, thank you so much, Katlego. There's so much I am realizing about myself right now. I think I've become very opportunistic in relationships, and in my mind, I'm just being strategic. Yeah, you must work on giving something into the relationship. We often think of what we can get, but we must start thinking of what we can give. And like I said, do that stock taking. Do that stock taking all the time. What am I getting out of this relationship? And check yourself. What am I giving? What am I giving? It's very important. What am I giving? Don't just focus on what you're getting. Focus on what you're giving as well. Here's something about the purpose of relationships before I close. The purpose of relationships. It is to lift others up. Purpose of relationships. It is to lift others up and to support them. That's why we are in relationships. We are in relationships to lift others up and to support them, just as those before us have helped us in our own journey. So let's say you are in a relationship with me. It can be a fatherly relationship or spiritual fatherhood relationship, sonship, and you are benefiting from this relationship. What am I doing? I am giving in this relationship. Why? Because there's somebody who helps me as well. So never get to a stage where you are what's this trying to get this best analogy, but everybody must be feeding from somewhere according to God's design. You can never get to a place where you are the greatest. You can never. There must always be somebody ahead of you. There must always be somebody on top that you can always feed from the top, and you keep feeding downwards as well. That's how it works. That's how people can sustain relationships. That's what brings humility. And many people tend to be arrogant because they feel that they've got no one to report to. And that's how arrogance comes. So in relationships, you must always acknowledge that there's somebody who helped you to get to where you are. I mean, you were once in preschool. You went to lower primary, and you continued. You went to senior primary, you went to high school, you went to tertiary, you started working. And in all these years, there's been people lifting you up. There's been people pulling you up. There's been people pulling you up. That's how life works. So that's the purpose of relationships. That's what I'm trying to get across. That's the purpose of relationships, to take you to the next level. So every relationship must have its means to take you to the next level. And you must connect right. That is why you must never connect with fools in life, because instead of you going to the next level, you're going to remain stagnant. You're not going to grow. Instead, you're going to keep going down. So it is purpose of relationships. It is to lift others up and to support them, just as those before us have helped us in our own journey. Let me share this quote with you. There's this powerful quote by Toni Morrison. This is what he says. He says, your real job is that if you are free, you need to free somebody else. If you are free, you need to free somebody else. If you have some power, then your job is to empower somebody else. Do you get what I'm saying? If you have some power, then your job is to empower somebody else. This is not just a grab back candy game. No. Because you receive from somebody, you must give to others. I mean, I love how the anointing operates in the kingdom. Impartation will always come from somebody senior. And obviously, when the impartation, the anointing comes into your life, what's your responsibility? To give to others that are following you. So that's how it works. God expects us to pass on the baton, to bless others, to pass on the blessing. That's why we are in relationships. That's the purpose for relationships, to lift people to the next level, to take people to higher levels. Number 4, last one, cultivate your relationships. Cultivate your relationships. It's one thing to have relationships, but it's another to cultivate those relationships so that they bear fruit. Cultivate them. Cultivate those relationships. Develop a system that works for you. Because obviously, in cultivating those relationships, you must make sure that from time to time you call that person, you check on that person. From time to time, you get that person probably maybe a gift, or you bless that person. From time to time, you go back, you honor them with words and everything. You must cultivate. So by so doing, you must develop a system. You must develop a system that works for you. By so doing, you can really leverage your time management skills to be an effective relationship builder. You must be an effective relationship builder. There are many people whose relationships don't last because they are not effective relationship builders. Why? Because yes, they met with this particular person. This is a very important person in their lives, but they stop calling them, they stop checking on them, they stop texting them, and they expect that relationship to continue working. No, that thing, let's say that analogy of, or the notion of saying once a friend, always a friend, it does not work. It does not work. Relationships need to be cultivated. You must nurture them. You must, from time to time, you say, okay, maybe twice in a month, I will give this person a call, or once a week, or, depending on the nature of your relationship, I will check on this person. And from time to time, I will never forget their birthday. I will never forget their special days. I become family to this person. I become family. So I check on them from time to time. That's what relationships are all about. Relationships are not only about what we can get, but we must give. We must give our time. We must give our kind words. We must play our part, play our role in a relationship. Develop a system that will work for that relationship to go to the next level. So yeah, that's it from me today. Thank you for tuning in. Before I let you go, I want you to purchase my book. For those of you who have not ordered my book, get this book. Sorry about that. Invest in my book, The Call of God. It will bless you. It is a powerful book. It will change your life, especially if you are a person who's not sure why you are here on earth. This book is big on purpose, and it will help you understand why you are here. So invest in it. It will bless you. For only 200 Rand, you can inbox me. You can order it from our website as well, www.thehouseofprayerministries.co.za, or you can order it from blackiconic.co.za, or you can direct message me and get yourself a copy. The Lord bless you, and I thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you. See you next week. Same place, same time.